Hi, and welcome to All Things Cozy with Matt.
And Gillian.
We are a bi weekly podcast about everything that is warm, soft, and comforting. As we record this in the spring of 2024, leaves are green and temperatures are warm, but we find ourselves longing for a cool autumn breeze and the feeling of crisp leaves crunching beneath our feet. This episode, which is our last before we go on our annual summer hiatus, is an ode to the coziness of the fall season, one with less sweat and more sweaters. So we're falling forward in time and sharing the autumnal activities we're looking forward to most, diving into a big pile of media that helps us feel like it's fall no matter the time of year, and reminiscing in general about our fall favorites. Before we leaf peep into future falls, let's check in with what's cozy in the news.
Well, this news story will have you hugging your pets a little tighter and checking your packing boxes more carefully. Utah based couple Kiri and Matt Clark learned this the hard way when they accidentally shipped their 6-year-old calico Galena to California, as CNN reported. Galena has a thing for boxes, just like my two cats, Snickers and Reese's, and her parents suspect she snuck in the package in between Dad Matt grabbing tape and scissors to seal a box of work boots. Luckily for Galena, who never made a noise, Matt didn't seal the package properly, so she had space to breathe. There also wasn't extreme weather, which is another stroke of luck. Some might say she has 9 lives. When Galena arrived in California and was discovered, a kind-hearted warehouse worker named Brandy took care of her for the night and then paid a visit to the vet. Galena's microchip connected her back to the Clarks, and Brandy filmed their sweet reunion. Although it was a terrifying situation, the story is purring with coziness, kind strangers, an adorable and resilient calico, and a happy ending. Now get that cat a cold bottle of milk.
For once, curiosity didn't kill the cat. It survived the situation. Lena is a beautiful cat. The fur markings and just the most beautiful blue eyes. Although the video still that's on the news story, if you click the link in our show notes, you'll see it too. The most insane expression on this cat. You could really believe this is a cat that would just impulsively hop into a box and be sent off to God knows where.
If that happened to me, I think I would burn the world down. I would go to hell and back. Apparently, I'm going to hell and back for Rumpelstiltskin. Going to hell and back for a lot of places or for people, and also my cats. I would lose it. I could see Snickers maybe doing that because she's so wacky and zany. But Reese's would be crying her head off for sure.
It'd probably be back to you though, because after they would weigh in the box, if Snickers got into it, they'd be like, you know what, you did not pay enough postage. We have to send this back to you.
Her big torty butt.
You kept saying Matt story, and it was so triggering. I'm like, I did not box up a cat. This is a different Matt. I want our listeners to know.
Matt would never.
No.
And he's not packing up any work boots.
No, I am not.
Matt, what's fallen on your desk?
You know that playing sports is beneficial for health. Groundbreaking research now shows that watching sports demonstrably improves well-being. Japanese researchers at Waseda University utilize MRI neuroimaging to analyze brain activity as people watch sports clips. The American Association for the Advancement of Science reports results showed sports viewing triggered activation of the brain's reward circuits, indicative of feelings of happiness or pleasure. It also revealed that individuals who reported watching sports more frequently exhibited greater gray matter volume in regions associated with reward circuits, suggesting that regular sports viewing may gradually induce changes in brain structures. And also, the more popular the sport, the better the reward, with baseball and soccer having a greater impact on well-being than less popular sports. And they're the ones that pointed this out. They call golf a less popular sport. I'm so sorry to all the golf enthusiasts. Not getting the same benefits as the baseball, soccer, and football watchers. Whether you're watching from the stadium or the comfort of your couch, taking time to watch sports isn't just fun, it's good for you too.
We realized that when we went to the baseball game for an episode.
Yeah, we were
Dodgers.
bonding with everyone around us. It really does
Mhm.
build community, which has a really big impact on well-being, on health in general, mental health. Came to this conclusion a long time ago. They should have been listening to us in our baseball episode. They would have
They
known this.
plagiarized.
That's right. Also, it makes me wonder if part of my problems is that I really don't watch sports. Maybe I'd be a better man if I started
Better
watching.
man. I think people need to find a sport that really speaks to us to watch on the boob tube because there's nothing I would really wanna watch on TV. I would like going out to the baseball game, being out there in the fresh air and with people and community, but it'd have to be something really captivating for me to wanna watch sports on TV.
Yeah, I could see you getting into like American Ninja Warrior or what else I think Jillian might find engaging enough.
That would be a tough one.
It's our challenge for the summer is we both have to find a sport and really follow it. Jillian is not into this idea at all. The silence you're hearing is her looking at me blankly on the screen as
I
we
also looked
record.
up at the ceiling and I saw nothing. Like, try to go with my brain and imagine things, but there's nothing there.
Jillian, I want us to take advantage of the health benefits of watching sports. We have to start watching sports. I've always liked watching soccer. I find that to be actually a very thrilling sport to watch. I know a lot of people say, like, well, not a lot happens, but I prefer sports that the score is lower so that, like, you can really come from behind. Love when the World Cup is happening. I do watch that as much as I can. I think maybe baseball might be it for me. I'm going to get back into baseball. We're on a baseball kick as of the last year.
Yeah, I could see you as a baseball guy, and baseball hats are cute. And I think for soccer, people move too fast. They get too dizzy trying to watch it.
Yeah, I don't want you to throw up watching. It's like going to counteract the health benefits of watching sports to begin with.
Well, let's get to something we like fall.
Let's do it. Well, summer may sizzle and scintillate, but it's fall that holds the cozy key to our hearts. And apparently yours too, listeners, as part of the reason we go on summer vacation is that you all stop listening to us and return to us when the leaves begin to change color. So while it might be hot outside here in the United States, we're donning a scarf and a cardigan of the mind and taking a moment to settle by the fire, sip some cider, and tell tales about our fall favorites, past and future. And there's a little bit of like a time capsule that I'm hoping to like bury with this episode where when we come back from our hiatus in a couple of months, we can uncover some of these things that we're looking forward to, put them into action. It's an ode to fall, but it's also a fall intention setting episode.
I think we should always be setting intentions for fall 24/7.
Absolutely. All right, so let's set some fall intentions with our fall forecast. Our first point of discussion here about future falls is what are we looking forward to most about next fall, fall 2024? Jillian, what do you have marked on your calendar?
What I have on my calendar is something that I stumbled across when I was researching fall in Chicago because I'm going to a wedding in Chicago in October, the end of October. And unfortunately, although I'm missing this event in St. Charles, Illinois, I am really into it. And I eventually want to go one day because it sounds so neat. Like it was ripped straight out of Pawnee or Stars Hollow. It's just so warm, cute, and community based. And it's called Scarecrow Weekend. This year, it's its 39th annual event, and it goes from October 11th to October 13th. And it's so neat because all of the town inhabitants, well, you don't have to, don't have a leaf blower to your head. You can choose not to participate. I should rephrase that. But mostly, it seems like everyone in this town participates because they have over 100 scarecrows that everyone comes together to make. So if you're a part of a business or school, or you're just an individual who wants to participate, you can. And then the town and tourists who come to visit get to vote on everything. And there's winners for each category. For example, in 2021, the Edgar family, and they seem to win a lot of categories year by year, in the mechanical and mega category, created a red haired witch dressed in an eye catching spider gown. And in 2023, Third Street Dance Studio crafted white pumpkin headed ballerinas in plaid dresses adorned with fall colored flowers. And the creativity is so impressive. I could pull example after example of just really inventive ways to portray scarecrows. I know that most fall fanatics are obsessing over pumpkins and leaf peeping, but let's give scarecrows a moment because I think that they're very underrepresented. And I just love that it's such a big tradition to see the same names come up year after year and then see businesses and schools participate. It's just a neat thing. And I don't know of anything else like it. It's really special.
Yeah, I love that. I would love to go to St. Charles and go to the Scarecrow Festival. It reminds me of, we talked about this a little bit. I think there was one cozy in the news segment about this being something that happens in the UK. And maybe that has influenced, it's coming over to the stateside more, these
Oh,
Scarecrow festivals. And what better place to have one than in Illinois, the largest producer of pumpkins? You're going to be in the freshest pumpkin zone, Jillian. So you really got to take advantage of. They're not going to be some decaying gourds when you're there in the fall. These are going to be fresh off the vine pumpkins. So really
Yeah.
dive in.
'Cause what we talked about before is when I go into LA, I feel like I'm sludging across hot gravel, and then I go and find some $50 pumpkin that's
Basically melts in your
melting.
hand. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to go. I'm just sad that I'm missing it because it's only an hour outside of Chicago, but people really put their all into these scarecrows. Very impressed. They just veer between traditional and super out of the box. So it's nice to have that mix.
Yeah, and I like when you can bring some whimsy to the scarecrow and really put your stamp of personality on it.
Because it can be a little creepy.
It can't. Well, why not? It's the season for creeps.
It's a season for creeps.
And I think what I like about your suggestion too is even if you can't make it to this scarecrow festival, you could still make a scarecrow, right? Or you could still maybe find one in your area. I'm going to share one upcoming event that's happening near where Jillian and I live, but there are lots of events like this, I'm sure, wherever you are. And that is Oktoberfest. Specifically, I'm really looking forward to Oktoberfest in Big Bear Lake in California, in the mountains. It's a great area for you can do some water sports, you can do skiing, snowboarding, great recreation, beautiful little town, downtown area. It's also great to know that you don't have to travel to Munich to celebrate Oktoberfest, right? We could do it right here in California or wherever you are. In Big Bear Lake, specifically, that's taking place September 7th through November 2nd. And you can feast on German cuisine and beers. And once you're full and drunk, you can enter the log sawing competition. I know Jillian's already excited to do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Or this is something that only she can do. I'm not allowed. Queen Stein carrying contest. Whoever can carry the most beer steins across the room wins.
Oh,
Queens
another great
only.
activity I'm great at.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Kings.
sorry to interrupt.
They don't call her Spilly and Jillian for nothing.
Yeah.
But you know what? This could be your chance, Jillian, to prove all the haters wrong and win the
Start
Queen
practicing
Stein
now.
carrying contest. This is going to be the key event in your Hallmark Channel movie this fall.
A beer maid outfit. Wait, are they are they beer maids or are they queens?
They're wearing the beer maid outfits, all of that. You
Why
got it. They're
hmm.
yeah, but they're still queens,
You're
Jillian.
right. You're okay.
What
So yes,
whatever they're
of
wearing.
course. Beer maids can be queens.
Only the Met
Absolutely.
Gala's finest for this lady over here. And the kids, we have stuff for the kids. They can get hopped up on apple cider and get competitive too with the pretzel toss or the kitty mug holding contest so they can get on the cup holding action. Of course, Bavarian bands will also be playing. They'll be playing waltzes and polka. And don't worry about driving back to your cabin. The free Big Bear trolley stops all throughout Big Bear Valley. And I love that they've really thought ahead and they're going to make sure all those drunks get home safely.
Yeah, I want to go.
We have a 2-month span that we can take advantage. So I think we should.
Yes, and I think we should be smart about it and go in September because we've learned that, of course, anytime we go towards the end of September or early October, it's overrun.
Definitely, Big Bear can be a hectic place. Make sure that you book early and get your spot. Because in California, we don't get the leaves turning, but you do in the mountains. And so you get to enjoy the fall foliage. Like we went to Julian a couple of years ago. That was really beautiful. But yeah, you have to ascend in California to get that experience.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'll keep everyone posted on my training.
So for our next segment, as we're just talking about what we're looking forward to most in fall 2024, I'm curious, Julian, when we think about the best of fall time for things that you like to do, what are your fall time favorites? I'm really going to lean into that pun. What's number one on your list, things you look forward to most when that season rolls around?
Honestly, I was inspired by our opening episode for this season where we created a fall feast. And I've been really leaning into these past few falls, finding new recipes to try and experiment with. And it doesn't even have to be complicated. I love making cute fall theme recipes too. I made those ghost pizzas and meat pizzas. That rocked my world. That
Those were scary good.
yeah, scary good. They put a pep in my float with ghost stew. They float around. Yeah, like I just loved experimenting this past year with you, making autumnal salads. We made a soup and it was just so nourishing and it made me feel accomplished and cozy. And I think that's the fall marks the season where I really start to get into creating comforting and maybe more savory foods. And we're less focused on being outdoors and we're just all about really relaxing with things that bring us that joy. And that for me, that is creating fall themed meals. And this season, I really want to get into More fall vegetables because I think I don't lean into that enough. I'm mostly with the carb based, and
Mhm.
fall, contrary to popular belief, is actually, as we discovered through our fall feast, very vegetable heavy and oriented. It's when a lot of harvesting happens. Maybe it's not contrary to popular belief. Maybe I'm just, like
All the
my own
farmers are screaming at their phones.
Newsflash.
These city folk.
Fall vegetables. Like I saw a lovely recipe on Pinterest, creamy scalloped sweet potatoes. Looks really good. And that's another comforting activity for me. I spent hours on that. The damn Instagram reels. Recipe after recipe, drinks, food, appetizers, just the whole gamut of fall food. So I'm really looking forward to that. I want to be a better planner this year and maybe create a mini little cookbook for myself and have it all written down and actually be organized so I can achieve all the meals that I want to make.
That is a great plan. I'm gonna join you with that because, yeah, I think I can tend to lean a little too much into the fall sweets and the spices that I look forward to in the fall, and almost like kind of the opening into the winter spice parade that goes through. But you're right. There's so many other foods that are associated with fall, specifically the vegetables that we enjoy. We made that episode last fall, incorporate more into our recipes and also make them more sustainable and fresh. And I think that's a great idea.
And we felt so good after we ate that meal,
We did. That was very
just
hearty.
in spirit and stomach.
Yes.
Well, what is the leaves rustling in your heart?
When the weather cools down, I finally emerge from my home. I don't know. I'm such a homebody in the summer as much as I am in the winter because of I'm delicate and like to be in air conditioning. And so when it's super warm and humid, if I'm going to be outside, like, it really needs to either be a very nice day. Granted, we do live in California, which can be very temperate, but I often spend my summers in the Midwest, which is very humid. And so you got to time it correctly in terms of when you pick your hours to be outdoors. And so the fall, wherever I'm living, is the time where I'm like most in love with just like leaving my house and going on adventures because it's comfortable to walk around. Like I can layer like I like to and be outside at the same time and be comfortable. And what do I like to do the most? My favorite all time activity in the fall would be just visiting a pumpkin patch, going apple picking, engaging with those fruits and vegetables that are just ready to be harvested and also get to see that fall foliage and just really smell all of the sense of being outside in the fall, which it just smells so good and feel the cool autumn air on my skin. It's just like such a great feeling. I really feel like it's not just the pleasure of those senses, it's something deeper. I feel very content in the fall. I'm meant to be in that season 24/7. And so I really want to go outside and just experience it as much as possible.
Yeah, you bring up a good point that I've never thought about myself. I'm most outdoors in fall. When everyone else is out, I don't know what they do. Go to the pool, the lake, taking a walk down around the block. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not doing that. I'm
No.
with you. I'm in the air conditioner. You'll maybe find me in a mall, like a
Yeah.
classic mall, relive my youth. You might find me in a theater, but you're not finding me outside. But fall, yeah, we're really active in fall, you and
Yeah,
me.
I wanna go outside in the fall. It's beautiful, first of all, just seeing the leaves, but it's more comfortable, flat out, and I can take my book outside and read and feel comfy doing so, and also the bugs are starting to die, which is great for all of us. There's less pests around to bother us when we're outside having picnics.
It's funny when you said flat out, no cap.
Did I put a little spice on that?
Yeah, we can
A
make
little
some
pumpkin
t-shirts.
spice? That's what fall
Fall's
does
the
to
best
me. It
season,
it
no
moves
cap.
me, it brings out a whole different side of me.
The community when you're at the pumpkin patch that you touched on to the excitement of seeing everyone else excited.
Oh, yeah, the pumpkin community. "Judy, what you picking this year?"
I barely make eye contact, but me making eye contact with 3 people is probably
I'm
my
a pumpkin
community.
patch nomad. I don't go to the same place twice. I'm always hopping around. I don't have an established pumpkin patch. I wanna try new ones. You'll never see me at the same one twice.
Most wanted sign up at the pumpkin patch.
I'm like the great pumpkin. I'm moving around. You never know what patch to wait for me in. Alright. I talked a little bit about sniffing the wonderful scents of fall that are natural, but you know what? Sometimes you just can't get to the real thing, and you need the next best thing. And so next, we're gonna talk about our favorite fall fragrances, both in terms of what we enjoy generally speaking, or maybe even if we've looked ahead to what's coming out in fall of 2024 or recent releases in terms of candles. What scented candles do we like the most when it comes to giving us that fall feeling? I'm gonna go first because my answer is like so basic. Let's just get it out of the way.
No shame.
Fall is where I really lean into my Yankee Candle basicness. I'm always burning their spiced pumpkin candle. Some people might say that candle tastes phony. Tastes.
Matt's eating his candles.
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
We've descended into madness.
Some people might say that candle smells very fake or whatever, but I love that scent because to me, it's the scent of picture it. You are walking into a boutique craft store in the cutest small town that you can imagine. And that first whiff of wicker and spice comes in. It's this candle. It's that store you walk into and you think, how can they possibly stay in business year round? But they still are there the next year that you come by. That's the smell of that store, and that's the smell of this candle to me. It feels just very homey and fall. It just brings all those things together. I love my Yankee Candle Spice Pumpkin. But a new candle that I'm looking forward to, I think this was released just last year, and I hope they continue making it, but I haven't sniffed it myself, so I really hope they do, is Evening Riverwalk. And it's a very woody scent of walking alongside a river in autumn. And I think that's very evocative and it sounds like it'll smell very good. The candles themselves look really pretty in terms of the packaging that they're creating for them now. And tip for all of our fall enthusiasts, right now all those fall candles are on deep discount. So they're all 50% off, at least as of this recording in early May. So this is a good time to do your fall candle shopping. So those links are going to be in the show notes if you're interested in talking about the candles that I'm talking about, at least. Those are on sale as we're recording in May.
I agree with you. The pictures and artisticness, whatever you call it, on the candle holder is so beautiful. And then
I
once
would
you
say
use it,
artisticness for sure. Yeah.
so our little paintings. I don't know what you're calling this. I don't think they have a painter painting them on.
It's the design on the glass itself. They have a wrap around it that has these like little bridges going through forests and stuff. It's cute.
Yeah, you explained it very well. That's my artisticness. But once you use the candle, you can reuse this for fall decoration. Maybe put some tea lights in there. It'd be really beautiful. So I love that. And you can't go wrong with a Yankee Candle. And I don't know why they haven't hired you as an influencer yet.
That's a great question, Julian. We've reviewed enough of their candles. Although I was looking through just to see if the Spice Pumpkin was one that we've ever officially reviewed, and we have not. We've done a whole host of other ones. And honestly, we tend to do two because I go on my binge buying at Yankee every fall because I care the most about their fall scents. I think that's what they do best, fall and Christmas. That's where I really live in terms of Yankee Candle purchasing. But we've talked enough about my Yankee Candle fandom. I think it's time to get into Jillian's candles. What are your fall picks?
I tend to avoid straightforward scents. So if a candle is explicitly pumpkin or just straight apple, I won't buy it. And there's no shade toward people who love to just have a huge whiff of apple in their face or a huge whiff of pumpkin in their face. There's nothing wrong with that. But I like candles that elevate these classic scents to the next level or thoughtfully interprets the scent. And a great example, which I've talked about probably a billion times, is my all favorite candle that's now only available on eBay. Anthropologie's pumpkin souffle candle, and the scent profile is orange and ginger and almond blended with clove bud, vanilla, and that bean I can never pronounce, tonka,
You got it.
sweet vanilla and cinnamon. So it's like a love letter to pumpkin, and it smells so good. It's delicate, it's light, has a little spice, but also the soothing vanilla. It's just a wonderful mixture, and that's what I tend to gravitate toward. This year, within that similar vein, I want to try out Enchanted Pumpkin Wine from Slatkin and Co.'s Homeworks, and that's with an X brand. The scent profile is pumpkin, mold red Cabernet, black apple, which that's a mystery to me, crushed cinnamon, and cranberry. I'm very curious to how the wine scent and the berry scent mixes with the pumpkin. That's something I've never encountered before, and I just love the name of it, Enchanted Pumpkin Wine. Sure, absolutely. Enchant me with your pumpkin wine. I'll drink it by the gallon.
Talk about candles I want to eat. This candle sounds delicious.
I'm melting it down. I'm sipping it. You're eating it. I'm sipping. This one also is on sale. It's typically retails for $30, but right now, if you buy it, it goes for $16.99, which is pretty good.
Yeah, again, we're on sale here because we're not on season. We got to start doing this. We're trying to get you prepared, everyone. We know you love fall listening to this, and we're trying to make you aware to buy your candles now. This is the best time to do it.
Yeah, and I guess I was the only person in the universe who had never ever heard of Slatkin and Co. and the Candle King, as the New York Times called him, who is the founder of this company, and he sold or had a deal with Bath and Body Works, and I think that deal has expired, and he launched Homeworks on his own, and people are really into that brand, and I think that they sell it at a lot of places like TJ Maxx or Walmart or things like that. So keep your eyes peeled for this brand. A lot of people love it, but they commented when he went with Bath and Body Works, like, the quality kind of dipped. So maybe this is a rebirth and the leaves are falling in a new direction for Slatkin and Co. and Homeworks.
First of all, I agree with you that this is a very evocative title, Enchanted Pumpkin Wine. I want to lean in. I want to discover what this could possibly smell like. We need to review this when we come back in the fall. I'm making that an assignment for you, Jillian, to get us some Enchanted Pumpkin Wine candles. I just think that fun, unique take on fall and giving us something fresh is really great. If a candle can do that, in addition to the classics like the ones I listed earlier.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Something to look forward to.
And I really wanna just try pumpkin wine in general. I can anticipate that pumpkin wine, if it really exists at all, probably tastes terrible, but I really wanna taste it for myself.
I'm sure Trader Joe's is brewing it as we speak.
So one final topic we wanted to include as we wrap up this discussion of fall favorites and things that we really love to dive into to make us feel like it's fall no matter what time of year it is. We're going to call this segment autumnal ambiance. This is about the shows, movies, or books, things that the media that we might engage with that really gives us a fall feeling whenever and wherever. Jillian, what would that be for you?
Okay, this is a little out there perhaps, but Brothers and Sisters, it was a TV show starring Sally Field, Callista Flockhart, and a really great cast. Rob Lowe was on it. I don't think I need to go through the whole list because it was a pretty well-known show and I loved it. I think people might be scratching their heads because it's based in California, and how I remember the set and the show is very light and breezy and airy, and they're always holding white wine in their hand and a lot of cream colored looks. But thinking back to it and diving a little bit deeper, the set was very cozy and employed a lot of fall themed colors. And they are vineyard owners, and a lot of it, their business is in Ojai. So vineyards always evoke fall memories for me. We went on our trip to the vineyard, I believe that was in September.
It's harvest season, so vineyards are right in line with that kind of feeling. And I was about to say, because I didn't watch Brothers and Sisters, so I don't really have a context for it. So as you were talking, I was typing Brothers and Sisters TV show into Google, like to look at the images to see if there was a fallness to it. And sure enough, the cover art for the show is like them in front of a vineyard. I completely see what you're talking about. It's this golden glow from the distance and on the vineyard. It absolutely looks like a Hallmark Channel fall harvest poster.
There's this person who investigated, no, investigate is not the right word. Maybe it's like a love letter to the Brothers and Sisters set design, and they wrote about it in their blog, Cinema Style, and they shared photos from the set that really bring home what I'm trying to convey. Dark colored floors, a lot of copper colors, once again, yellows and reds. It's very cozy set, and the series production designer, Denny Duggley, said, "We wanted the Walker family," that's the name of the family in the show, "and their home to be recognizable and inviting. We want it to be a home that you want to visit week after week, linger and have a glass of wine and talk." And for me, that's very fall. I think fall is the coziest when you're commuting with others in a small, intimate setting, wine's involved, and this is the kind of show you can really hunker down and enjoy in fall because although it involves a lot of family drama and there are some very emotional, intense, and dramatic moments, it's also a really funny show. I don't think it's credit enough for that. Sally is, of course, amazing in it, and the cast just really goes well together. And you can watch all the seasons because the show's done and just have your glass of wine and dive into this cozy fall-esque California family.
Where could I stream Brothers and Sisters if I did want to get some fall vibes from watching the show?
It was on ABC, so I bet they have all the episodes. It's on Amazon Prime, Hulu, Apple TV. And yeah, I think that's all the places that it's on. It's unfortunately not on Netflix anymore. It was at one point, but I imagine this is not an October show, it's a September show. And
Mm.
September isn't often good to do in fall. This is great. It also feels really fresh, the show, with the once again, the lighting and everything like that, and something to really sink your teeth into. And it just reminds me of fresh starts, and I link that with September and fall. So maybe that's why this just came to mind. But I'm going to watch it all over again in September. I think that's my goal while I have my fall recipes that I made.
That's a great show to have on the background while you're making something. Like it's that kind of show for sure. Well, Jillian, going off of your statement that this was a September pick, I'm gonna go to an October pick. The movie that if this is on cable and I just catch it randomly and I immediately feel like I am in October, no matter what time of year it is, that movie is Sleepy Hollow, the 1999 Tim Burton version. And that's, of course, an adaptation of Washington Irving's short story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, with Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci. And if you've seen the movie, you know that there's constantly dead leaves just swirling around everywhere. It's funny, you mentioned brothers and sisters having heavy themes. This one incorporates a lot of decapitation, so it's not really a cozy watch, I would say. But I do find the gothic horror environment to be cozy insofar as I don't know, it's so storybook to me. It's spooky without being scary, I would say. And this is just a very spooky movie. It puts you into that October Halloween spirit without being very explicitly Halloweeny, just very autumnal New England fall.
You had me at swirling leaves. That's all you needed to say. Because I was questioning the decapitation, but if it has swirling leaves, I'll get through it.
There are just gorgeous fall leaves swirling all around the headless horseman.
It's funny, I was in Phoenix with my dad in October, and the little hotel we were staying at was playing Sleepy Hollow in the theater, and it's like 12 PM and scorching almost 100 degrees because Phoenix is always hot. Like, "Dad, do you wanna go see that? Sleepy Hollow?" "No."
I have very firm memories of Sleepy Hollow because leading up to it, like I was very, very excited to see this movie. It was my mom and my friend, my childhood friend, and we had just gotten something from the store and we were going to go straight to the movie theater and see the movie, which we did. We were very close, our families, my friend's family and ours. So I'm just setting up some context for what's about to happen next. My mom bought him deodorant from the store so that he could put it on because it was that time of our adolescence where he needed deodorant.
Did he ask for it, or your mom
He
just
didn't ask for it,
Oh,
Jillian.
Matt.
He was provided deodorant because it was necessary.
Did she slip it to him casually, or did she make it known? I guess you know about it,
Well, I guess
so
I mean, I remembered it being like, "It's time for you to put this on," and so before he went to Sleepy Hollow, he did a couple swipes of that deodorant.
I think that's more scary than the movie.
Every everyone in that theater was they didn't know the horror that we prevented in that theater.
No, you're absolutely right, because on another podcast in another universe, someone could be talking about their fall horrors, and they'd be talking about that stinky kid that ruined their Sleepy Hollow experience.
It's a thing that often happens is that adolescent boys don't realize that they need deodorant until someone points it out.
I also appreciate a strong woman because I would have just suffered through the boys' sense, and I would have never been that bold.
It's important to note too that really at that time, like his mom was my mom was his mom. We were very close. This was like family. It wasn't some
I
random
see, I
kind of
see.
acquaintance from school. Like no, we
It's a
always
warm gesture.
yeah, it was a warm. We were always together.
Warm gesture.
Speaking of warm gestures, let's close the time capsule on our discussion of autumn and move into some words of warmth. We hope that these quotes will add a little pumpkin spice to your life. Jillian, what are your words of warmth this week?
My words of warmth reflect and sum up the best way possible how I feel about fall, which is that it is a fresh start. I almost picked a quote from Nancy Myers about how in I think You've Got Mail, how you would give a bouquet of sharpened pencils. I feel that way. Fresh everything, new start, not like spring. So Albert Camus says it best. Autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower. So leaves are my flowers, as your spring is my fall. It's the spring of my heart, fall.
That's really beautifully said. I love that, Jillian. Those are some words of warmth right there. Put that onto Brainy quote or the Goodreads quote selection or whatever.
Yeah, old walnuts. What is stoking the fire of your Hearth. I think Alonzo told me it's hearth.
Alonzo Giraldi, our favorite film critic and podcast critic. My quote is from the lovable Friedrich Nietzsche.
Oh, yeah.
This quote is apocryphal, so it probably wasn't said, although I guess Nietzsche did love autumn and fall. And the quote is, I notice that autumn is more the season of the soul than of nature. And going back to what I had talked about earlier, I feel that fall is much deeper than just the visuals of the fall foliage and the leaves changing and the cool air and the harvest that we're gathering as we prepare for winter. It's a very introspective time of the year. I feel like autumn is a season that gives one space to think and to meditate and just consider where you are in life and where you are in that moment. This quote resonated with me, no matter who it's from, because I do feel like fall is not just a season that we pass through to get to the next. There's something deeper about it that really allows one space to explore oneself.
Yeah, that's beautifully said as well. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a transformative time. It's a time to reconnect with yourself. I feel exactly the same way. And I think our quotes echo one another.
There are leaves on the same tree.
Oh, that's so sweet.
As we wrap up this episode, we talked about candles a little earlier that we're looking forward to or love the most during the fall season. But we do have a fresh one for you today. And I tried to pick one that is straddling summer and fall. That's giving just forest vibes, generally speaking. And I was in a great place to pick up this candle because I was in Idyllwild, California over the weekend. And that is a mountain town very close to Palm Springs. It's a place where you can just get away, drink some wine, hole up in a cabin, and let the world pass you by and just enjoy being in nature. We stayed actually at the Idyllwild Inn, and they sold their own handmade candles. And I thought, how sweet is this? I got one, and the one that I'm sniffing today is black coral moss and leaves, and it is a natural soy wax. Oh, I am seeing that it is hand poured in Augusta, Georgia. So maybe someone in Georgia can also get this candle. You don't have to necessarily be in Idyllwild, but they labeled it just for Idyllwild. And it smells very woody. It's giving forest floor, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. And I think it's the moss piece of it. There's that earthiness that I really like. And it's funny that I really loved that mushroom candle that we burned a few weeks ago. And a friend came in when that was burning and very seriously turned to us and said, I think you might have a mold problem.
And here we were raving about it.
I will continue to rave about it because I think that smells great. It smelled like literal dirt, and I loved it. And that's how effective that candle was, by the way. But no one's gonna come into your space and be like, "Wow, your apartment smells amazing." They'd be like, "Jillian, it smells like dirt in here." But sometimes you want to experience that scent profile, and I think this candle is much more pleasant than that. It almost smells like a lot of candles that say they smell like amber smell like. It's that kind of earthy mineral scent. It's a wick up for me. I would recommend it. Unfortunately, there's no online store, so if you want to get yours, you either have to find out whoever makes this in Augusta, Georgia, or you got to go up to Idyllwild and stay at the Idyllwild Inn and grab a candle. It was a very affordable $13.
One of my other favorite fall scents is woody and earthy scents. That sounds like the perfect pick.
There is one more thing I want to say about this candle is that black coral moss and leaves. Okay, you have me with moss and leaves. I can picture that. I can imagine what that would basically smell like. But what do we mean black coral? And I need the help of the listeners because do we mean like coral like you can find in the ocean? Like what is the scent of that? Or is it like a mineral? Is it like what is black coral? Do you know, Jillian, what is meant by black coral?
Matt, I think you're asking the wrong person.
Okay,
It's what I think. But my
there you
best
go.
guess, it would be a mineral.
That is my task for listeners as we go off on our summer vacation. Discover for me what is meant by black coral. And please let us know by going onto our social media channels. We are on Facebook and Instagram at All Things Cozy Podcast. Leave a comment, send us a message, educate us about black coral. Please, I'm asking you. I did Google it. This isn't me just being lazy. I was confused by the Google search. Anyway, some final shout outs before we hop into our jet skis and go off on the lake. Apparently, Jillian, we've been missing a whole slew of Australian and Canadian reviews on Apple Podcasts that don't appear to us in our app because we're in the US store. But thanks to the Chartable Digest emails that I randomly opened today, here are two recent international reviews. And so apologies in advance to all the other listeners from the UK, Australia, and Canada who we haven't shouted out because we left a review because we don't see that in our American store. Please take that up with Apple. They segregate the store based on country.
So the first wonderful, lovely review comes from Christine Gafer from Canada, and they left this review on April 28th, 2024. So a fresh, nice review. They write, "A prescription for happiness. I look so forward to every episode of this cozy, charming podcast. It always feels like a happy visit with friends, a visit where everyday moments and everyday things are special and cherished." And Christine also left a little heart emoji, which is so sweet. And what a lovely review. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And also thank you to Clara in Australia. So warm, my new favorite. And she spelled favorite with a U. Love it.
We know it's legit.
So that's how you know it's a real one. Also on April 28th, that was a magical day. Again, if you want to put a pep on our step, leave us a review wherever you listen to the show. But we really read the ones on Apple Podcasts the most because we notice them, and we'll do a better job of checking Chartable so we capture the international ones too. But it really does make our day when people leave reviews. So if you do have a moment and you haven't done that before, we love that. Also, another reminder that you can support our show on Patreon at patreon.com/allthingscozy. When we come back in August, we'll have a brand new gift for our Pillar members, and we'll be restarting the book club up for our votive and Pillar members. And you can always join the Tea Light tier if you just want to contribute a couple of bucks a month, or you can even join for free on Patreon just to follow along. You won't have access to the book club or the gifts, but if you want to just see the action happening on Patreon and bookmark us for when you might want to jump in and support, that's an option. As we mentioned, this is our last episode before summer hiatus. We will be off the air for a couple of months. We'll come back in August. So light a candle for us, set out your pumpkins, get ready, because the intentions we're setting for fall will be a reality in just a couple of months.
And we'll miss you like a vine misses a pumpkin.
That's right.
And thanks you for all the support this year. It was a wonderful season. I had so much fun with you, Matt.
Same, Gillian. I'm really proud of our episodes from this quote unquote season. We learned a lot. We learned how to eat plants out and about, just foraging. We talked to astrologers. We went to a baseball game. There's a lot of really exciting stuff.
Yeah, we gotta put some love on our dogs or feet.
Love on our dogs.
They say the dogs are yapping or the dogs are
Oh,
howling.
okay, yeah. So we but put some love on our dogs. Maybe you think like you have to do like a dog episode. That's not a bad idea. Maybe in that next season we'll have a dog episode. We don't know. Anyway, this is the long goodbye. We don't want to say goodbye to you. We miss you already, but we do have to go take a break, rest and recharge. And we hope you have a very restful and recharging summer yourself. We will also be active on the Facebook group and on social media, so you can still check out those channels to see us moving and grooving. But until August,
Stay cozy.